In another exchange, DeRosa asked Cuomo to find out if more accusers would be coming out, writing, "Rumor going around from Politico that 1 to 2 more people coming out tomorrow. Can you check your sources?" Cuomo responds, "On it. No one has heard that yet." But these text messages completely contradict what Cuomo was telling his viewers about the situation. Remember this?
I'm not an advisor. I'm a brother. I wasn't in control of anything. I was there to listen and offer my take. And my advice to my brother was simple and consistent. Own what you did. I never attacked nor encouraged anyone to attack any woman who came forward. I never made calls to the press about my brother's situation. I never influenced or attempted to control CNN's coverage of my family.
Right. But the reaction of the president of Accuracy in Media, Adam Guillette, is something we want to get to right now about all this. Adam, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What do you think? Is that gonna fly for Chris Cuomo over at CNN?
It's morally outrageous. I haven't heard of a family member of an accuser doing such disgusting things to smear people since Hillary Clinton tried to cover up for her husband. But she at least wasn't trying to pretend to be a journalist at the time. CNN was merely their ally rather than their employer. The Cuomo crime family gets worse and worse each and every week, and there's no way CNN can even pretend to be some sort of news outlet when they allow stuff like this to happen at their network.
Here is The View's Jane Coaston on the Chris Cuomo situation. Wanted to have you react to it, Adam.
They need to hold him accountable because you need to be the example of we won't stand for unethical behavior on our watch.
Right, especially because this is a massive ethical breach. If you work at a news agency, as I do and we do, you understand it. They're just basic things. Like if you found out that an intern did this, they'd be gone a second after these text messages came out. And I think that this is an abuse of power.
Abuse of power, she says. What do you make of it?
Well, it reminds me of when Lyndon Johnson supposedly said that if he's lost Walter Cronkite, he's lost America. If you're a progressive and you've lost the women of The View, it's over. There's nowhere else to go. To me, this is so incredibly morally outrageous because as Americans, we look down at countries like Venezuela, where the government nationalizes the media, where they stifle opposing viewpoints. You've got the same thing happening here now in America, where there's this progressive journalism political alliance. Progressives work with their allies in the media to stifle opposing viewpoints, to go after accusers, to illicitly dig up information on people who want to make their favorite politician look bad. It's sickening and it's disgusting. And CNN, I get that they're desperate for ratings. Times are tough. But if they pretend to have any level of journalism, if they pretend to have any level of credibility, they can't have things like this going on in prime time.
Here is some tweets from liberal journalists criticizing Chris Cuomo. Apparently, the word is getting out about this, and some are realizing it's really indefensible stuff. LA Times reporter Matt Pierce: "This is an embarrassment." Salt Lake Tribune reporter said it was extremely troubling. Mississippi Free Press reporter: "Incredibly unethical." For those out there who believe that there is such a thing as journalistic ethics, isn't this crossing the bright red line?
I mean, CNN's crossed it a long time ago. This is a network that sells stories to their audience that they know not to be true, like the Russia hoax, simply because it's what their viewers want to hear. They put ratings over journalism. And I gotta say, how gosh darn lucky are we to be in a society now where we've got choice? Remember just 25 years ago when CNN was really the only option for 24-hour news? Imagine the kinds of things they would be trying to get away with right now if they knew that we didn't have other networks and online news, networks like this, where we can get other viewpoints. Thank goodness for the pluralism in media choices that we have today, that we're not stuck with CNN as our primary news source during a pandemic. We are so gosh darn lucky to be in a better society. And you know what? The left hates it. That's why they're endlessly trying to get advertisers to pull their ads from channels they don't like, websites they don't like. They're trying to get hosting companies to shut down news outlets that give opposing viewpoints. They can't handle a pluralism of ideas. They can't handle a marketplace of ideas because they know their ideas won't win.
Seems like the Cuomo saga here, with both of these brothers now very much embroiled in it, is in general a moment of real soul searching, should be, I should say, a moment of real soul searching for the media in terms of what they've become. because not only did we have this situation with Chris Cuomo at CNN seemingly trying to help and even cover up for his brother at some level, the media was holding up Governor Cuomo during the pandemic as a great hero, and they only brought him down. He was only brought down by women coming forward as his accusers here. Governor Cuomo covered up a nursing home scandal where he sent people into nursing homes who were still COVID positive, which was clearly a reckless and dangerous thing to do. The media celebrated him for that. He was, after Fauci, the second biggest COVID hero in June of 2020 in the whole country. And how did it come to that? I mean, how could the media be so wrong and seemingly not care?
Well, sure. We covered this extensively for a year at Accuracy in Media. Listen, Andrew Cuomo was the grandma killer. His policies cost the lives of thousands of people. Now, Cuomo's mess up from time to time. That's what Cuomo's do. That's on brand for them. But what was even worse than making a mistake was the cover up. And it's unbelievable to think that in the midst of failure like that, just 3 weeks into COVID, he was already potentially getting a book deal. In the midst of all of this, he was given an Emmy Award, which we fought successfully at our organization and got revoked. That is progressive privilege. We so often hear the left talk about privilege. Progressive privilege is failing as a governor, being offered a book deal, and being given an Emmy Award, all while you're covering up for the deaths of thousands of people and sexually harassing women. That's progressive privilege.
You think that there's going to be any accountability here for Chris Cuomo over at CNN? You think they'll actually do anything this time?
I think they definitely are, because again, when you've lost all of the progressive movement, you've got nowhere to go. And listen, it's not like he's a big earner. It's not like he's a big ratings grab. It's not like they can't afford to lose him. It's CNN. They can get somebody else and put him on in prime time and keep their dozens of viewers at about the same level that they're currently at. He's pretty easily replaceable.
Adam, thanks for your perspective.
Thank you for having me.
Just 1 week after 6 people were killed